Podcast.
The Angle Podcast.
And feel the power! Ladies and gentlemen, The Angle proudly presents the world's most talked about pro wrestling sensation.
It's the Angle Podcast. How exciting!
Although we're not at the beach enjoying the festivities we typically enjoy during this time of year, we are still going to party like we are because this is the biggest pre-show of the summer. Welcome to the Angle's WWE SummerSlam pre-show. I am your host, Joey Karni, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all the Angle's activity right here on YouTube. Now, although tonight is SummerSlam, it is the 1-year anniversary of the Angle Podcast. I want to thank everyone who has been a part of the growth over the last year. Star-studded interviews, guests, thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of likes. I am so ecstatic to see where this show has been over the last year, and it is all due to all of you. So I want to thank you all who have been part of this journey, and we are on our way to becoming one of, if not the best wrestling podcast that there is. So much has happened with the Angle Podcast over this past year. Interviews with superstars such as Shane Helms, the Hurricane, Gregory Shane Helms. We have RVD, Rob Van Dam, podcast hosts like Dave LaGreca and Chris Van Vliet. So many more names on that list, I can't even say them all right now. We've been featured on Fight TV, Bleacher Report, Pay-Per-View. The Angle Podcast keeps growing and growing and growing, and again, I want to thank everybody for their support over this past year, and I can't wait to see what this next year has in store for us. Because tonight is WWE SummerSlam and the 1-year anniversary of the Angle Podcast, I had to go out and make this the biggest, baddest show that I possibly could have. And that's why I have tonight's guest with me. I have WWE Hall of Famers, D-Von Dudley. Yes, D-Von Dudley from the Dudley Boys will be here later on the show to discuss the tag team title match that will be happening at SummerSlam, as well as his history with the event. We all know that iconic triple threat TLC match from back in the day with the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. Now there is another superstar, a Hall of Famer, that I'll be welcomed by later tonight, and he will be helping me introduce the WWE title match, and that is the Olympic gold medalist, yes, WWE Hall of Famer, KURT Angle will be here to help me introduce the WWE title match later on in the show. Now, there are so many matches on tonight's card that I'm really excited to talk about, and I can't wait to start. I'm sorry, I guess we're having some technical, I'm not even sure what is going on right now. We're going to try to start with... I'm getting word now that we are going... Yeah? Later on in this show, we are going to be joined by The Fiend. Very well. I don't know if I can be here for that. Yeah? The Fiend is somehow making his presence on the Angle Podcast tonight. So stay tuned, and like I said, we're going to see him later on in the show. As you can tell, I'm very, very excited for tonight's SummerSlam event. I've been waiting for this event. It's one of my favorite events, if not my favorite WWE event of the entire year. And we're going to start the show off in a big, big way. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world today, but we're going to bring you some entertainment. We're going to bring you some positivity. And that's why we're going to start this show off the right way. We're going to head to the Angle Zoom Room to discuss the hair versus hair match. We're going to be discussing Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. And we're going to be discussing the United States title match between MVP and Apollo Crews. We're going to discuss all of that now with the Balor Club Guy. We're going to head to the Zoom Room, like I said, to talk to Justin. But there is a match on the card that has really fueled my interest in the entire event, like overall, and that is the newly announced street fight, which is going to be Dominic Mysterio making his official in-ring debut against the Monday Night Messiah, Seth freaking Rollins. What do you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for the Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins storyline, I really wouldn't be interested in the Raw side of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is working his butt off right now. Like, his Monday Night Messiah gimmick is amazing.
I agree.
Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son, blew me away when like the 619. It was money. I think I tweeted it out. I said Dominic Mysterio in the ring is money.
Yep.
I'm so excited for this match. Let's talk about it.
And it's a street fight. It's a
street fight. It's a street fight.
I feel like we've been kind of foreshadowing this over the last few weeks. We've seen the kendo sticks involved. We saw.
Ooh, you saw the marks that Dominic took.
Kendo strikes on Monday Night Raw to Dominic.
Oh.
Welcome to the WWE, Dominic Mysterio.
First day on the job, kid. You're taking 20 kendo sticks.
Exactly.
With no shirt on.
No shirt on. But I don't know. I mean, his first big WWE match, his first match in WWE in general, is going to be Seth Rollins. So to me, they have a lot of hope and a lot of, a lot of backing in the WWE management into Dominic Mysterio. Maybe this was a way for them to, in my eyes, you always have to look at the backside of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is their way to kind of have Rey Mysterio re-sign with the company. We're going to put you in the spotlight. Maybe you'll re-sign and stay with WWE, which I think is overall what's going to happen. But I don't know, man. This is, from what we saw on Monday Night Raw, the contract signing, both great promos from each end. We saw Samoa Joe really involved in there. And I think right now, I don't know if Rey Mysterio has signed a contract to return. I'm not sure if that's, what it is. So we obviously know Buddy Murphy's going to get involved in this match. It's given. Do you see Samoa Joe coming to the aid of Dominic Mysterio in some capacity?
I do in some capacity because, Samoa Joe is awesome. On commentary, in the ring, he's awesome. That promo he did when Rollins and Murphy tried attacking Tom Phillips? Yeah, Tom Phillips. Yeah, because Seth Rollins was screaming at him. Yeah. So, but when Joe was like, "You think I'm going to let you come over here and bully my announce partner?" So I think Joe will get involved in the match to some extent. I think this is going to be a great street fight. I think possibly maybe we see a returning Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
It's a street fight. Anything can go. So it's going to be an awesome match. Now, who wins? That's the question.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It's too hard for me to tell. I honestly feel in my soul that we're going to see Dominic Mysterio get the win. Just because of what happened to Rey Mysterio. It was so monumental, him losing the eye. Mm-hmm. I think that WWE has to finish the storyline in a positive way just because of how they ended with Extreme Rules. I think that you're going to see Dominic Mysterio somehow, some way get the win over Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. Seth can take the loss.
Yes.
He's taken many big losses this year already, and he's still a significant part of Monday Night Raw. So I think he can take the loss. This is just a way to build Mysterio up, bring back Rey Mysterio, also help develop Buddy Murphy, or Murphy, whatever he's going by. I think that this is just a really exciting match. Like I said, the promos we saw on Raw, beginning of the show, I was like biting my fingernails. I'm like, I am finally excited for a WWE pay-per-view in 2020. It's I don't know. It's been one hell of a ride so far with these promos. I hope to see Samoa Joe involved. Maybe we see Samoa Joe, start a rivalry with Seth after this.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe's cleared. So I'm not sure, but I'm predicting a Dominic Mysterio win.
And this match, I agree 100% with you on. Dominic Mysterio wins this match.
Yeah.
His debut pay-per-view match in WWE.
Now, we also have to argue, Seth really hasn't had much success at WWE pay-per-views this year.
He hasn't, but, he did make Rey Mysterio lose an eye.
He did. So,
yes.
It kind of goes both ways, but I'm predicting a Dominic Mysterio win. You're predicting a Dominic Mysterio win.
Yes.
A few great matches on the card I'm really excited to see. Now talking about them with you, I'm really excited.
It's going to be a great pay-per-view.
Yeah,
And how can I not be excited? It's on my 30th birthday.
Oh,
It's
man.
on my birthday.
That's awesome. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody on Twitter, tweet the Balor Club guy, Justin. Happy birthday if you're watching.
Yes.
This. Any last thoughts you have on SummerSlam?
I'm really excited, Joey. It's gonna be an awesome pay-per-view.
I want to thank the Balor Club guy for making his return back to the Angle Podcast to discuss some of the matches that everyone's really looking forward to at WWE SummerSlam, all going down tonight at 8 p.m. on the WWE Network. Now we're going to head back to the Angle's Zoom Room to discuss the Raw Tag Team title match between the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel Garza. Now, one of the moments everyone's been waiting for, to help me talk about this match, we're, like I said, going to the Zoom Room to talk with WWE Hall of Famer D-Von Dudley.
Joey, what's going on, man? It's D-Von Dudley, Hall of Famer, that is, and 24-time World Tag Team Champion. And I just want to say I hope you and your family are all well during these crazy, crazy times during coronavirus. I want to thank you for having the podcast called Angel Podcast. Thank you for being able to have a podcast like that will be able to spread the wrestling news and that the fans can actually receive what they're receiving in the wrestling world and not phony wrestling news, but legit news. So thank you on top of that. I also want to say that SummerSlam, WWE's event, is coming up, and, it holds a special place in my heart. You see, 5 of the guys and myself, basically, we created something that now to this day lives on and is being duplicated, or at least trying to be duplicated the way we did it back in the day, and that's called the TLC Match. Very, very fond and memorable moments during that time. It really was. And the Dudley boys, the Hardys and Edge and Christian, put their lives and careers on the line to be able to entertain each and every one of you and your fans that listen to your podcast and the wrestling world. We wanted to make sure that there was a match that was so legendary that even after 30, 40, 50 years, it would still be talked about as probably being one of the greatest matches of all time. Now, that's not taking anything away from Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. That's not taking anything away from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the Macho Man Randy Savage. Those matches were in a class by themselves. No match could ever duplicate those 2 special legendary matches. We were hoping to just be put in the same category as those guys. And I think we did it. Every single one of us knew what was at stake, and we did what we had to do to be able to pull it all off. I'm very happy and very grateful for the fact that none of us actually walked out of there in really bad shape. Although our egos might have been tarnished a little bit, just simply because Edge and Christian, after every TLC match, they always won. But that's nothing compared to having your legs broken, your arms broken, concussed, or any of that. We were just happy to be able to do what we had to do to entertain the WWE Universe and the fans around the world. You have 2020 SummerSlam coming up, and you've got some legendary, hopefully legendary matches in the making. One of the matches that I'm looking forward to is the Tag Team Raw match, and that's going to be against the Street Profits, Angel Garza, and Andrade. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be, I think, a really, really good match. And although it's not a TLC match, I think that they can make history by going out there and doing what they do best, and that's entertain. That's put on a wrestling clinic. Those 4 guys, I believe, that's going to go out there and really, really do it justice. So I hope every single one of you and your family members and the wrestling podcast and the world is tuning into that match. There are other matches on there as well, but you know me, I'm a tag team guy, and I've been for a very long time. So that's the one that I'm really looking forward to. My prediction for that particular bout, if the Street Profits can go in there and do what they continue to do the past few weeks, then they're going to get the job done and retain those titles. But if Angel, Gaza, and Andrade figure a way to stop the smoke, then you will have new tag team champions. But which one will prevail? Well, SummerSlam, if you tune in, it's the only way you're going to find out. And so I hope that each and every one of you do and realize that these guys are going out there and doing exactly what the six of us did, and that's entertain and make sure that this might be the match that you guys talk about for a very, very long time. Again, Joey, Angel Podcast, phenomenal job that you guys are doing. I want you to keep up the good work. And with these trying times where everybody's talking about coronavirus and everything else underneath the sun, you give them that one glimpse of hope that they can suspend reality and go into something that is really, really beneficial for their minds, their bodies, and their soul in terms of not thinking of, well, bad things, but only good things. And if pro wrestling and your podcast is doing it, then my brother, keep testifying, because that's the only way you're going to bring joy to everyone in this wrestling world, by giving out good news, not bad news, definitely not fake news. So again, congratulations on everything. I hope you guys tune in to watch SummerSlam, and I hope that this podcast that you have, Angel Podcast, lasts for a very, very long time. Now, do me a favor. Can you please get the tables? Oh, and testify. My brother, take care.
I want to thank D-Von Dudley for coming onto the Angle, making a short cameo appearance, giving some great insight into the Raw Tag Team title match going down tonight at WWE SummerSlam. And might I add, some great history for the event with TLC, the match that he was involved with years ago with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, alongside Bubba, or should I say Bully Ray. But great insight from D-Von Dudley, and I was so excited to have him join the show. But we're going to head back to the Zoom room to talk more SummerSlam with my friends Daniel and Vikram from the Dropkick Podcast. But to lead us into there, we are going to be joined right now by WWE Hall of Famer, the Olympic gold medalist, KURT Angle. He's going to kind of segue us into the Zoom room to talk to the Dropkick Podcast. So ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic gold medalist, WWE Hall of Famer, KURT Angle.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, KURT Angle, and I want you to like and subscribe to the Angle Podcast. Although it's not my podcast personally, it's still a great one. And be sure to subscribe before SummerSlam, because the WWE title match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre should be the best main event in years. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Because you'll never see it coming can be used in every single storyline, including the Raw, women's title, but also including this next match I want to discuss, and that is the WWE Championship match. The WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and the Viper, the Legend Killer, Apex Predator. This guy's the best wrestler in the world, Randy Orton.
All of it, man.
What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think Drew McIntyre's reign has been good, but at this point in time, who else is there but Randy Orton to stop Drew McIntyre? Everybody has eaten a Claymore and got the 1, 2, 3. But everybody recently has also eaten a punt kick and got the 1, 2, 3. And I feel like this is kind of like a finisher versus finisher type scenario. But I do feel like so I think it's lights out if Orton does hit a punt kick, and I think Randy Orton's going to win the WWE Championship. Hopefully, he wins it, and then by the time my boy Edge comes back for the title, I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Thank you. But yeah, vintage Edge shirt. But I got Randy Orton for this match. I do.
What do you think, Daniel?
There's so many ways that it can be booked, and like the tagline mentioned, you'll never see it coming. So I think that there will be no winner. I think there will be a DQ finish or something crazy, because a returning Brock Lesnar will interfere, and we're gonna get something crazy at Payback. You know what I mean? Payback, Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. Brock never got his payback, so hey, man. But if we're gonna pick a decisive winner, I think I gotta go with Randy Orton, man. Like Drew McIntyre's a good reign, but it's time, man. Randy's on like another level right now, so Orton for the win, man.
I said a few months back that when Edge and Orton were going at it at Backlash, in my eyes, Edge wins hands down because where does Randy Orton go after that match, a win or a loss?
Yeah.
He wasn't really featured on anything at that time. Months later, he's in the main event of SummerSlam. So it's really hard to tell where these guys are going to go from here.
Yeah.
In a week from now for Payback. Randy Orton is just on a streak that I don't think I've ever seen from him.
Yeah.
He's been on these type of streaks before, but nothing as unique as this, where he is in a lane of his own compared to everybody else in the company. Like everybody's here, and then like Orton is on another level.
He's literally GOAT status right now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
He's the top heel in the business. You know, sorry MJF, sorry Baron Corbin. All those people are literally you can't.
You can't compare Randy Orton. The man low-blowed Ric Flair, and I got mad. Like, I don't get mad at wrestlers often like that. Like, Randy did that, so...
Oh, you know how salty I was at Backlash when he pinned Edge 1, 2, 3? Oh.
And then Edge being injured after that match?
Yeah, I was like, really? Come on now.
Yeah.
But I feel like if the rest of the year goes the way it has been, Randy Orton's going to be the wrestler of the year this year, for sure.
Well,
100%.
Absolutely. I mean, how many main events matches or how many monumental matches has he been in this year already?
That's true, man.
WrestleMania, and every pay-per-view besides Extreme Rules, and he's in the main event of Raw every week. But either one that can win, either Orton or Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Either one would be a great WWE champion for the rest of this year.
For sure.
Listen, we're going into September. The year's pretty much almost over. So whoever wins this match, I can kind of see going into WrestleMania or even earlier the Royal Rumble as the WWE champion. And for me, it's Orton. If the timetable for Edge to return is 2021 early on. So if Orton is the champion, Edge is returning, you continue that feud, and that's the main event of WrestleMania for the WWE title. And that's where Edge gets that redemption. The redemption from the redemption, so to say. Drew McIntyre, I believe, deserves a better run in the sense that if this COVID thing wasn't happening, this got to be champion for an entire year.
100%, yeah.
But with no crowd and just the backstory to his character and having to be put in that WrestleMania situation where no crowd at the PC, Brock Lesnar, main event, WWE title, like everything was aligned for him. You know, he deserved to be in that. They should have, in my opinion, they should have held off on that match and waited until there was a crowd. Which is why I think they're going to take the title off of him now. So when we do go back to having live, crowds, he can kind of replay that situation, win the Royal Rumble or something like that, or even just win something else and be back in the title picture and then win it in front of a live crowd.
For sure, yeah.
SummerSlam next year.
I agree with that.
Maybe
who knows, man? For sure.
There's a lot of different scenarios that can be played out here. But I'm a fan of all of them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think they're all great, man. Orton and McIntyre, they're two, great assets to the company right now because they've been holding it down for the pandemic era of WWE alongside MVP and others. But these two, wrestlers, like, they're on a different level for sure.
They're going to have good in-ring chemistry. I don't know if you guys were watching Raw around late 2019, but actually they were having a bit of a mini feud before the Royal Rumble last year where
when he turned face.
Randy was the face. And McIntyre was the heel. Then McIntyre won the Rumble, went full-on babyface, and they just dropped it. So
they just dropped it,
He
pretty
was
cool
actually,
we're getting this match now.
I was talking to somebody about that a few weeks ago on Twitter,
when that was happening, that was, like you said, late December, early January, before the Rumble. And that's when McIntyre was organically becoming a face. Like, he was being cheered massively. Biggest pop of every, of the night, whatever show he was a part of. So that's kind of where that started, was when he was kind of interacting with Randy. And that last segment, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was like he was laying in the ring in the corner. He took the mic and he said something, he's going to kick Randy's ass and he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And the crowd went wild. Like Dolph Ziggler cashing in Money in the Bank wild.
Yeah, man, it was a great pop, but I COVID happened, and I feel bad for these guys, but not everyone's going through it. So I guess, like you mentioned earlier, having Drew McIntyre win that WWE title again in front of a crowd would be pretty phenomenal.
I think that if this is gonna happen, it has to happen now, because if you wait any longer, and you wait maybe to Royal Rumble to put the title on Orton.
Yeah.
That is a short period of time. We know the end result is Edge holding the title.
Yeah. 100%.
So I don't know if it doesn't happen now, it's not happening. I don't think this year. And he's
I think
of a streak to kind of like not do it, not put a plug on that.
For sure. But I think the feud's gonna continue because Payback and then Hell in a Cell, but who knows, man? We don't know the future. Anything can change in the WWE, like they say. So just got to keep an eye on for that. But yeah, man.
There's a lot of things on this event that I'm really excited for. I think mostly is the WWE title match, just because I'm a fan of both. More of a fan of Orton as a heel. I think most people are.
Definitely.
But I'm just excited to see how the finish goes, because honestly, like, we're predicting an Orton win, but you got to remember, you'll never see it coming. Claymore out of nowhere. Everybody thought last year that Orton was going to beat Kofi for the title.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't happen. So
right.
It did not happen.
You also have to think too, SummerSlam is Orton's. That's his playhouse.
That's his home field advantage, as they say. So
yeah, Orton's successful a lot of times at SummerSlam, because it's true. He could get hit with the Claymore and just like be knocked out.
Lights out.
And it's over. Lights out. But it could happen. So it's a pretty good match, and it's not like that predictable, because I could really envision both guys winning. So,
That's what I'm saying. It's too close to call, and also like what Daniel said. Payback is next week, so maybe we see a botched finish or something where, Orton low blows McIntyre, gets himself DQ'd. Now McIntyre wants payback, so at Payback we have a rematch, and then Orton wins the title.
Yeah, or I think maybe a returning Roman Reigns somehow gets like slotted into there, and I wouldn't mind it, man. Roman coming back with that big beard and like just whooping ass, Hey, if we're going to go that route, I would not mind it. Roman versus Edge, Spear versus Spear, but I hope Edge wins that match.
Then while you're at it, we can just throw somebody who has 2 matches left. You can just throw Goldberg in there, and you got a triple threat, Spear versus Spear versus Spear.
Hey, man.
And
he's got like 2
crazy match.
He's got like 2 years on his contract. Yeah.
He's got 2 years on his contract. It's crazy. Something tells me like 3 out of those 4 matches are going to be in Saudi Arabia, but maybe we can get a couple at like a WrestleMania or SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna. If next year's WrestleMania is able to be in front of a live crowd, they're gonna pull out every stop they possibly can to make it literally the biggest show that they've ever had. So expect to see Goldberg if that's the case.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes.
Any last thoughts on SummerSlam, on the WWE title match you guys have?
Like I'm predicting Randy, but like as Daniel said, you never see it coming. And if it does end in a DQ, I just tell people, don't be surprised if Retribution attacks during this match, because this is the match that we're all waiting for. This feels like a main event. This has the big fight feel. If they're gonna have Retribution attack, this is like the perfect match for them to make an impact. So just keep your eyes out.
It's a good point. People haven't really been. Everybody I talked to so far, you're the first one to mention Retribution at all.
Yeah.
On this pre-show, so you also have to.
Hey man, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate you coming on, giving some great insight once again. Where could everybody find the Dropkick Podcast? Your Twitter handles. Let everybody know.
Yeah, Vic, take it away.
All right, so the Dropkick Podcast, on my YouTube channel, there is a playlist called the Dropkick Podcast. My YouTube channel is The VP Show. And then you can find us both on Instagram. We have a Dropkick Podcast Instagram, which is literally just the Dropkick Podcast. And both of our Instagrams are, mine is Vikram_Prashar, VIKRAM_PRASHAR. Find Daniel on Instagram, DANIALM8. And then on Twitter, VP Show Official. And you have Daniel Heel 998 on.
Yeah, you got
Twitter.
it.
So there we go.
There we go.
We got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Such great insight from my friends Vikram and Daniel from the Dropkick Podcast. I want to thank them again for coming on, returning back to the Angle Podcast, talking WWE SummerSlam. It's my favorite time of the year. SummerSlam, biggest party of the summer. But I also want to give a special, another birthday shout out to my friend Justin, the Balor Club Guy, who was on earlier, because today is his 30th birthday. So I want to wish you a happy 30th birthday. But we are going to go back now to the Angle Zoom Room to talk with one of the most charismatic podcast hosts that there are today. You may know him from a Kenny for Your Thoughts podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kenny. But the Universal title match that we've kind of been waiting for, at least in my eyes, waiting for the past few months, although we kind of got it already with different versions of Bray Wyatt. But I think people have been waiting to see The Fiend, Braun Strowman, one-on-one, no gimmick, no swamp, whatever. And let's have this title match. What are your thoughts? Are you getting some technical difficulties? Because I'm seeing some.
Joey?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I couldn't. You were asking about Strowman, and then I really couldn't hear you for the. Sorry, we're good now, but
yeah.
Yeah. Can you ask? What were you asking? Sorry.
Yeah, I just. Did you get a flicker on your
Joey?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, you said I'm getting. It just kind of cut.
Well, that was kind of weird.
Are we good?
I just got a pop up of like Brace. I don't know. The Fiend face just popped up on my screen. I don't know what. Just.
Well, I didn't see that, so you might want to. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you. Yeah.
I don't know what is. All right. Well, let's see if we can get back on track.
Right,
Universal title match.
Get our composure back here. All right.
It's
all good, bro. Match. It's live. It happens. What's going on? Let's go.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman. We see a new Braun Strowman. Let me ask you this first question.
Yeah.
Who's the face and who's the heel?
I'm so confused with this feud.
Is there one, or are they both? I don't know.
They're both tweening. Is probably the best way to say it. But this one's confusing me because it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be negative. I really don't. But like, I'm not really liking this direction that they're going with Braun Strowman.
Out of nowhere.
Right. It's kind of like, I never saw it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the tagliner. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it felt random that he suddenly just like doesn't like Alexa and doesn't. It's like, I get it. I get that the Fiend changes people. His head is shaved, which, full disclosure, I'm losing my hair too. Like, this is not coming from a place of like just downing him, but like, I get why he shaved his head, but like, I like that look for him.
On, there's gonna be some big show. I mean, there already are some big.
Yeah, it's true. But I liked his look. I know he was like his hairline was going back, but it was a good look for Braun Strowman, and I don't think they should have changed it. It made him look unique. I mean, literally, think about it. People are calling him Snitsky in the Big Show now. Like, that's not a good thing, and that's your Universal Champion.
I saw the Snitch Show.
Yeah, the Snitch Show. But it literally, like, I just don't know. It took this feud like has kind of lost momentum to me in that sense. Where I hope I'm wrong. That ending segment to SmackDown the following week, that was a little bit weird. You know, a little bit weird with how he was tossing Alexa to the side. But I did like Alexa. To her credit, Alexa Bliss has been amazing in this feud.
100%.
And like literally the slaps from not the past episode, but the previous, where she was just slapping the crap out of him and saying, wake up. Like that seemed real. And a lot of people go, well, Alexa Bliss keeps getting these pushes and I don't understand. If you don't see star power in her, you don't see the acting chops, you don't see that she has it, you don't see the fact that she could be an ambassador for WWE, you don't understand professional wrestling. It's not just about what she does in the ring. You can say, oh, her in-ring work sucks, and it doesn't for the record, but you could say that, but you're missing out on the whole marketability of Alexa Bliss. She has it.
If you look at her from point A to now, when she first started in WWE and NXT, with you know the fairy dust and the tutus,
night and day.
Find me another superstar who has transformed and developed that way to being a multiple-time champion.
I mean, she's involved in the Universal title feud. She's entrusted to be in that role. You know what I mean? And a lot of people were like, well, if she was a major player, she'd be in the women's title role. She can't do that all the time. My point is she's involved in a main event of SummerSlam with The Fiend and Braun Strowman, and she's trusted with that role for a reason. You know, she's playing her role is, of course, the damsel in distress in this case, and she's doing it well. She's doing it amazingly. And anyway, enough of a rant about Alexa Bliss, but she's doing great. Back to the feud. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope this match blows me away, and I hope any match with The Fiend is going to be good. It's just the Braun Strowman developments that I've been a little bit confused on.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I don't know. I selfishly, I do want the Fiend to win, because I feel like how do you have the Fiend lose?
Yeah. I mean,
but then again, how do you have Braun Strowman lose? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, ask Goldberg.
How the Fiend loses.
Oh my God, and he's signed for like another 3 years for 2 matches a year.
So I don't know where that even came from. I thought he was getting.
And I'm a Goldberg fan, guys. Full disclosure, I actually like Goldberg, and I'm already like, oh my God, what is going on?
I loved his run with Lesnar. It was,
I did too. I was there when it culminated at WrestleMania 33. Like that was an amazing night, and I remember like catching heat with the crowd because everybody was booing him during the entrance and then cheering him during the match, and I was like, you fickle bastards. Like, just let it happen. Wrestling needs to be watched sometimes. Yeah. But the Fiend stuff, no, not so much. Not so much when he beat the Fiend.
In my eyes, I think the Fiend, there was some sort of double turn that happened here. And it wasn't like a gradual thing. It just like in one episode of SmackDown, double turn. Braun says he doesn't care about Alexa, which is a heel thing to say because you know
absolutely
that they're great friends on screen and in real life, whatever. There's stuff on the WWE Network that just proves that for hours. The Fiend stopped attacking her when she put her hand up and touched his face, which is not a heel, I guess, move.
Right. He had some compassion.
Exactly.
Right.
So in my eyes, there was a turn where now Braun is going to be the monster. No pun intended there because they're both on, but the Fiend is still going to be the Fiend, but there's a different side we're going to see to the Fiend now.
He's tweening. I think he's tweening. He's Undertaker 1993, where Undertaker was never fully a babyface, but he started wrestling heels. And it's got to be that. That has to be. That's the only explanation I can think of, because if not, it doesn't make sense for them to both be heels, essentially, unless Braun Strowman snaps out of it and he was under a spell essentially by the Fiend.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I could think of. But I think your explanation is more plausible for the simple reason that the Fiend is not a character that's going to get booed. No matter if he's a heel or not. He's so over with the crowd. Yeah. It kind of makes more sense to lean into that and just kind of make him be the baby face, but never acknowledge that he's a good guy.
They haven't one monster in WWE that they haven't showed a compassionate side of.
Right.
I don't think there's ever been one. They do. This is just a formula that they follow with their stars in this sense. But let me ask you this: can you see Alexa turning on the Fiend in a way, aligning with Braun, turning heel if that's where his character is going, costing the Fiend the title, and now the Fiend's like, what? Is that
I can't see that. I can see that. That's exactly why. Well, I can actually see something. It's almost like taking your point and turning it into something else.
Exactly.
I can see that Braun Strowman never really was a heel. That Alexa Bliss turns on the Fiend and says
it was a setup.
The only way to make you lose was to mess with your mind. And Braun and her laughing and saying like, we love each other. We would never go hate each other like that.
They set the Fiend up basically.
Yeah. And then that's where you have the definitive. They were still babyface, and then
exactly.
The Fiend is heel. That I can see happening. So now we've combined theories. So now I feel a little bit better about this match. Maybe something will happen, but I also am like I don't know if I have full faith in WWE to be thinking. But let me give them credit. WWE's actually really gone with a lot of what I think a lot of people wanted, where they wanted them to go recently. They're trying new things, especially with the pandemic going on. They're like, just screw it. Like we have nothing to lose. So I can kind of see it going somewhere down that line. Yeah.
Now there is another or here because there's a third option that we can go with this storyline, which is pretty much the easiest one to figure out. That Alexa Bliss finally they pull the plug with Alexa and she goes into this Sister Abigail type character and she's aligned with the Fiend, and and somehow Braun loses the title, and now we see a kind of a Beauty and the Beast type storyline with Alexa and the Fiend.
So my full disclosure, and this is the being too much of a smark. No matter what they were supposed to do, if I go back to the original storyline was supposed to be the Fiend beat Roman, and let me say that again. The Fiend Goldberg beat the Fiend, and then Roman would beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. Roman would face the Fiend at SummerSlam, and then the Fiend would probably regain it back.
Yep.
So I can't shake the fact that no matter what we make sense of or whatever, I can't shake the fact that I think the Fiend is leaving SummerSlam with the title to continue on whatever is supposed to go on.
Yeah.
And I can see, God, I hate to say it, but I could see Goldberg coming back into the fold later on, going into 2021. Things like that, you know what I mean? So going into Halloween, if you don't have the title on the Fiend, I think something's wrong. So I can see the Fiend winning. I don't know how, I don't know how we're getting there, but he's got to win. But then again, payback's the following week, right? So Braun Strowman can win the title here or retain and then lose it the next May preview. So
but here's the thing. If one of these situations play out,
right.
I am agreeing with you here that the Fiend is leaving SummerSlam the new Universal Champion.
Right.
But the question is, who is Braun going to get payback on? Alexa or the Fiend?
Probably Alexa. I mean, it looks like they're going to continue.
She's utilizing this storyline for a purpose. And it hasn't been – that question hasn't been answered yet. So it's obviously going to happen at SummerSlam. She's done with, her pairing with Nikki Cross.
They can go a lot of different directions. There's a lot of pieces here at play here. And that's what's good about professional wrestling. It's good that we can't figure this one out.
You know what? This is why I like you, like having you on the show, and how I like you as a person, just because you just made an excellent point. Nikki Cross is still in some sort of story with Alexa.
She asked her, "How are you? How are you? How are you feeling after the Fiend stuff?" She cares.
I'm fine. It's not ended there. Maybe we do see her, Nikki Cross, get involved with SummerSlam, and maybe what comes to mind for me right off the bat is maybe she gets aligned with the Fiend.
The Fiend, right?
And Alexa goes with Braun, and then at Payback we see energy. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, and it's good that literally, I say it to the Angles audience here. It's good that Joey and I can't figure it out, because that makes it all the more entertaining, because now we're giving you like 6 different scenarios. So when you go into that match, you don't know what to expect.
I'm actually
That's a good
excited
thing.
for this match now.
Right. I've literally, in talking to you, I told you before, I'm not excited for this match. I've gotten myself excited just talking about all these scenarios.
And we talked last month about Extreme Rules and the Swamp Fight, and neither one of us were we were into it because we were, but it wasn't what we wanted to see. Now I think we have so many different options where it's like we can't pick what we prefer to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited for this event. Any last words you have for SummerSlam for this event?
Yeah.
In general?
I think the tagline, like you said, I hate taglines when it comes to these themed pay-per-views, but I think this one fits because I really don't know what's coming in here. I feel like going into this, I really won't see it coming. And there's going to be a lot of twists and turns along the way here, especially with the, another pay-per-view being next week. Like this can go in 100 different directions. And I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this. That's all that matters. I hope the execution's there. Again, guys, you may think that certain things might happen. I promise you're going to watch this back after the event and go, wow, Joey and his guests were wrong about everything, or they were right about this and wrong about that. Like this is one of those shows where I promise you won't look back and say, oh, Joey and his guests got them all right. I promise you.
Always such great insight from Kenny for Your Thoughts podcast, as well as Daniel and Vikram from the Dropkick Podcast, and my friend Justin, the Balor Club Guy. All three great podcasts. You should all go listen, follow, subscribe to on Twitter, YouTube, and anywhere that you can enjoy a podcast. They are there. That's why they are on the Angle Podcast pre-shows, because they are, in my opinion, some of the greatest podcasts that are out there today. Now, I also want to thank my special guest, WWE Hall of Famer KURT Angle, as well as WWE Hall of Famer D-Von Dudley, especially for giving that great insight into the Raw Tag Team title match we're going to see tonight at SummerSlam, as well as his history with the event and the iconic TLC match from many years ago. But the real shout out goes out to all of the fans who are watching this currently right now, all the fans who have been watching for the last year. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it is the Angle Podcast 1-year anniversary, and this cannot be possible without all of your support. So again, for me, thank you very much for your support, for following, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, everything that goes into growing this podcast. I want to thank you all for doing so, and also joining this journey that is the Angle Podcast. Now, we are a short time away from WWE SummerSlam going live on the WWE Network. It is almost at 8 p.m. time this Sunday, and I'm just really excited, like I said, throughout this entire show, for this card, for this pay-per-view. SummerSlam is my favorite WWE event that goes on the entire year, and I think tonight we're going to see some of the greatest matches of the year thus far. What is happening? What is... Where did the lights go? Hello? Hello? What the hell? This is the Firefly Funhouse, which means only one thing. What the? No. No.